Being an international student means I have to keep juggling between my work, classes, and gym. And this makes it very difficult for me to stick to my diet. But in this video, I'm going to tell you my 6 tips that I use to stick to my diet and hit my macros consistently. So let's get started. The number one tip is going to be shop for 2 to 3 days at once. That's because it saves a ton of time and it already decides what your next few meals are going to be. If you already know what your next few meals are going to be, you have much lesser decision fatigue and you don't have to spend a lot of time and energy in thinking about what you're going to eat to complete your protein intake. Plus, 2 to 3 days worth of groceries can still stay fresh if you have a refrigerator. This basically helps you stay on track without overbuying or wasting. Moreover, it's budget friendly and it's easier to track your spending because as an international student, you might know that it gets expensive sometimes. And honestly, 2 to 3 days is just enough to stick with one meal. And if you want some more variety, you can always do shopping for the next 2 to 3 days of the week again. So you basically only have to go shopping 2 times a week instead of 7 days a week if you went shopping literally every day. You don't have that kind of time, bro. You can't waste your time going shopping every day. You see, to be consistent with anything, you have to learn to make things easier for yourself. And this next point exactly tells you how to do that. And that's to have some systems set up for yourself. You see, one of the biggest and the most difficult things while maintaining your diet is deciding what you're gonna have to eat. Because there are so many factors you need to take into account: your calories, your protein, your fats, your carbohydrates, and let alone your grocery expenses and time required for cooking. That's a whole different thing you have to think about. Now, just imagine if you had like just 2 to 3 set of dishes that are high in protein, have enough calories, that you know how to make easily, you know how much time it takes for the preparation of these 2 to 3 meals, and you sort of like the taste of. And imagine what if you mostly just had these 2 to 3 set of foods for the month or at least for the week. That would remove so much of the mental energy spent in thinking about every single meal of yours. Now you will never have to think about all these factors that I mentioned ever again, because now you know for sure that these 2 to 3 set of foods will complete your daily protein intake. These 2 to 3 set of foods will be prepared in, for example, about 1 hour or 30 minutes, and you really like these 2 to 3 set of foods. And with this, you're for sure going to hit your macros as well. And plus, if you already know what you're gonna eat, you also don't have to think about what groceries to buy because your dishes and meals are decided. This just makes things so much more easier and time efficient. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to keep eating these 2 to 3 set of foods for the rest of your life. Like, you can change your source of carbohydrates or source of protein once in a while. For example, if you're having chicken and rice right now, tomorrow you can have fish and rice, or tomorrow you can have chicken and potatoes, or tomorrow you can have fish and potatoes. That's fine as long as you know that your meal is high in protein and you know the calories and macros of it and you know how much time it takes for preparation. That's fine because we care about optimization. We care about not spending our mental energy in such stupid things. And plus, it makes it so much more convenient to track your food because you're gonna have the same meals most of the times. Your calories and macros are gonna be the same most of the times. So you just have to calculate them once and you can keep reusing them throughout the week. This way, you know for sure that you're staying within your calorie limit and getting as much protein you need. I personally only have about 3 dishes throughout the month. I keep switching between potatoes, bread, and rice, and chicken, kangaroo, and fish, or sometimes prawns. And by the way, if you're wondering how kangaroo tastes, it tastes delicious. The next tip is going to be investing in an air fryer. If there's only one kitchen appliance I would recommend you to buy, it would probably be a microwave and an air fryer. That's all you literally need to survive because it's so convenient and it's so easy to cook food in it, and it also makes things much more healthier because you have to use lesser oil and you don't have to wash any major utensils later on. It just makes life a hell lot easier, bro. Just get an air fryer already. You can cook chicken, potatoes, veggies all at once and you don't even have to wash anything later on. How convenient is that? Plus, you don't have to keep looking at it because once you just set up the timer and the temperature, it's all done. It'll be done when it's done. You can do your work or your assignments or whatever you have to do. Plus, it also gives your food a good crispy texture if you're really into that sort of things. So it's a must buy in my opinion. If you're a student, it's 100% must buy equipment. This next tip is going to be for my non-vegetarian lovers like myself, and that's getting easy to cook meats like minces or boneless pieces. That's because in bone pieces are harder and take longer time to cook. If you get boneless meats like chicken thigh or chicken breast or chicken mince, means that's easier and faster to cook. Plus, it's easier to measure it because you don't have to measure the bones later on. And plus, they're more versatile. That means you can make more variety of dishes out of them. Like you can make stir fries, you can make sandwiches, you can make rice bowls, you can make wraps. It just doesn't end. The list is countless. And it tastes delicious if you actually like boneless meats. And most of us generally tend to like boneless meats. So why not just get them every single week? But mainly because it's easier and more accurate for macro tracking. That's why I suggest you to get boneless meats or minces. The next tip is going to be cooking for both meals at once. That's cooking for your lunch and dinner together. This is a total game changer if you're someone who has uni in the morning and work in the evening, because then you just don't have enough time and energy to cook for both meals separately. It just saves so much time because one cooking session is equal to two meals done. Plus, if you're on a cut, it also helps in controlling your portion sizes because you've already made what you have to, and that's all you can eat for the day. Plus, if you already prepare your meals, you don't have any excuse to eat junk food later on. And this is extremely important if you want to stick with your diet long term and make consistent progress. And the last final tip is gonna be KISS. KISS, KISS. Keep it super simple. Come on, bro. You're not some sort of master chef. You're just a student who doesn't have enough time to cook because of work and uni. So you don't need like 20 fancy ingredients and special chef's kiss recipes. Just keep it super simple. KISS, keep it super simple. Just have one main protein source, one good carbohydrate source, and enough fiber. That's it. That's all you need. Less variety is equal to easier tracking is equal to more consistent progress. And what you want is more consistent progress. You don't want variety in food. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you make gains. You need to stop eating for pleasure and learn to start eating for purpose. Eating food shouldn't be like some sort of feel good time for you. Eating food should only be a time where you're basically refueling your engine to get some shit done. I'm not telling you to have disgusting, tasteless food every single time. You can add whatever seasonings you like as long as it stays within your calorie limit. But once you stop prioritizing taste and start prioritizing macronutrients and calories, that's when things actually fall into its place. That's when you start seeing results because that's what will keep you consistent in the long term. And progress only comes with consistency. If you want to learn how to lose fat effectively and efficiently and as fast as possible without losing a lot of muscle, I have made a full guide to it. The first link in the description will lead you exactly to there. It's an amazing guide if you're serious about fat loss, so do give it a shot. And you literally spend more at McDonald's in a day than you will spend on that guide. So make sure you give it a look. That's it for this video. I hope you found this video helpful. Like, share, subscribe, whatever for the YouTube algorithm, and I will see you in the next one.